The iPhone 13 Pro Max has been my favorite iPhone ever, without a doubt. From the color, the battery life, the way this phone has treated me, it has been the perfect iPhone. I have loved every minute of it. So, when the iPhone 14 Pro Max was announced, I was actually excited because, one, it didn't change too many things, but what it did improve were things I wanted to improve, such as the battery life and a certain couple of features with the camera, particularly the new video stabilization, because I take a lot of video with my iPhone and I really need smooth video. So I'm very excited to unbox the brand new iPhone 14 Pro Max in deep purple. So I did have a chance to check it out in store, and I have to say, Apple does not do a good job with their website colors anymore. It just looks so terrible. It doesn't look reflective of the real color at all, and this has been the case for a while now. The same thing happened with the iPhone 12 Pro and 13 Pro as well. I just did not get a good idea of the color on the website. It was very wrong. So peeling off these two the paper pull tabs, the phone is unboxed. No plastic, no nothing. Apple did away with that a while ago. And one annoying and sad thing is that the Pros used to get a black box instead of a white one. The white boxes were limited to the non-Pro versions, but now you get a white box on this too. But so I guess that, I don't know, 13 cents it cost for printing a black box is not worth it to Apple anymore. But go ahead and unbox this. And boom, there we go. Ooh, that deep purple does look nice comparing it to it's a very different approach. It's a dark, it almost looks black. Just black with a touch of purple, a slight drop of purple. It's like you have a tub of black paint and like 2 drops of purple fell into that is what this color looks like. The camera bump is so big. Oh, goodness gracious. I thought that the 13 Pro Max was bad. Look at the 14 Pro Max. It's just insane. That camera bump it's something, all right. I really didn't think the 13 Pro Max's camera system would get dwarfed, but oh my god, that's insane. Love the purple stainless steel. It looks fantastic. Okay, gonna put this off to the side for a quick second, just see what else comes in the box before I continue with the unboxing. Let's see. You no longer need a physical SIM card. Activate your eSIM during iPhone setup. For more information, go to apple.com/eSIM. So that is the unfortunate thing about this phone. There is no longer a physical SIM card slot, at least if you buy this in the North America, which sucks because I travel a lot and I need that physical SIM card. So it's going to be a bit of a difficult transition for me. The only thing I'm really hoping is that, some of these carriers get their shit together so that when I do travel, eSIM is easier to apply and set up. If it was just like logging into an account and syncing it up, that would make my life so much easier. But unfortunately, it's not like that in a lot of countries. And then you get the USB-C to Lightning cable. Nothing fancy about it. That's about it. The unboxing experience is really tiny now. It really doesn't have much to show for, and that sucks. But I'm going to put that to the side, and let's go ahead and look at the phone itself before I take off the plastic on the front. That purple is quite something, I have to say. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I really liked it. I like that it's new, but the Sierra Blue is just so pretty that I'm really struggling to see why they don't have the Sierra Blue again this year. But I probably wouldn't have bought the Sierra Blue again, just thinking about it. It does keep this phone special. This phone is definitely going to go down in history as one of my most favorite phones ever. So I guess in a way, I'm glad they didn't reuse the color. This color is nice. It's a very dark purple. I definitely would have preferred a dark over a light purple, because the purples that they showed on Apple's website, I was not sold on that. If it was similar to that, I probably would have returned this and gotten the space black, which I saw in person and actually looks really nice too. It's definitely way darker than the graphite from last year. So let me go ahead, flip this over, and as similarly from last year, you've got the you've got the little white paper showing you what each button is. I'm just losing my words today. I'm sorry, guys. So you've got your alert slider, you've got volume up, volume down, and the power button. So and there's a little plug right here, a little chart symbol right here to indicate the lightning right here. So I'm going to put this down, put my mic right next to it so you guys can hear that peel. Okay, so I have to say, the peels are not as satisfying as they used to be. They used to be absolutely just so satisfying, but that looks so neat and so clean. I am actually so nervous about this. I'm going to go ahead and grab the screen protector I have for this and put it on before I even boot the phone up. So this is the Spigen screen protector that I use with all my iPhones. I love these. They're so easy to install. So I'm just going to install these really quick, and then I will come back to you guys. But if you want to grab a screen protector yourself, I'll have this link down in the description below. Alright, so screen protector is installed, and now I can use this phone without worrying about it. So right when the phone is off, I can kind of see that dynamic island in the light. But when the light is off, when the display is off, you can't see the dynamic island. And actually, it's not really an island. It is kind of what the leak showed. There is a separate camera and the Face ID sensor. It just is kind of software locked into. I think maybe that's an angle you might be able to see it. But yeah, there you go. Might be able to see it there. But let's go ahead, boot this up. And I will show you guys the eSIM pairing process. I will probably have to block out the information. As you guys can see, the SIM card is missing. There is no SIM slot on this, sadly. So I will set this up, and let's see what that process is like. Usually when I'm doing these unboxings, I just say, all right, I'll set it up and I'll come back to you guys. But since the eSIM is so new and I've never done an eSIM setup, you guys are going to be along for the ride on this one. So let's go ahead and set it up. Damn, that does look very different. Something I'm not used to at all. Just, I guess, having this much space on the sides is something it feels very new. So let me go ahead and set it up. Yeah, and privacy, Face ID. All right, set up Face ID. Position my phone. So it kind of uses that space in a different way. That is a different setup. Let me go ahead and set that up. It's like a pop-up now. So I guess you can expect more pop-ups here. Use Face ID with a mask. Yes, I do want to use Face ID with a mask. Okay, position with the sensor. Thank goodness they don't make you get a mask to register this, because I would just probably skip that because I never have a mask close by. It's always somewhere else and I have to go find it. So continue. Create a passcode. Give me a second. Oh, okay, so it lets me transfer my phone number. So to set up cellular on this iPhone, you can transfer your phone number from another iPhone. Once this phone number is transferred on this iPhone, it will stop working with your other iPhone. So it shows that I have 3 phone numbers available to transfer, and I could set this up later in settings too. So what I'm going to do is, at this point, I'm going to have to probably blur out a lot of the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and go to that page. I'll blur it out, and if it's in edit looking like you guys can't see anything, I will go ahead and just change out. I will put a screenshot up with some more clear details of it. So since I can't take a screenshot, I'm just going to take an actual photo of it so I can edit that later and put it on the screen. But what's happening here is that it is immediately recognizing the number I have in my 13 Pro Max, and it's letting me transfer it. So I do have 2 other phone numbers that are actually not phone numbers from this country. They're SIM cards from other countries, and the transfer is not supported on them. So it is very clearly a carrier thing. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. I'm going to set this up, transfer number. So confirm transfer on this. So, okay. Oh, cellular plan transfer. So it's requesting that I transfer my phone number. Again, I'm going to have to block that out, guys. I'm sorry. But it asks, do you want to transfer my phone number to a new iPhone? This cellular plan will no longer be available on this iPhone. If you do not request this, do not allow the transfer. So I'm going to hit transfer, and let's see what happens. I hit transfer. It's showing me activating on the bottom. Let's see. All right, finally, it took its sweet time, but it says activating eSIM. You can continue setting up your iPhone while your eSIM is activating. Okay, continue. So for what it's worth, I still do have network on the other phone, so I don't think it's transferred over yet. And it does show SOS here. So Apple Pay, I'm just going to, at this point, I think I can just go ahead and skip a bunch of this. And if there is something important to show you guys, I will. Otherwise, I will just jump to my initial impressions from here. Oh, cool. Okay, so while I'm setting up, there is this new emergency SOS page. It says that, I can press and hold for the emergency SOS, but it also says it has crash detection and coming fall 2022, emergency SOS via satellite, which is super cool. So connecting. Okay, so this video has been a mess. It's been all over the place, and I'm so sorry, guys. It's been a long day, but let me go ahead, and I might repeat myself here, but I'm going to be brief, and I do want to get through a couple of things. So let me start talking about the actual physical hardware. I don't think I actually did that. So this has the new A16 chip. It has 6 gigs of RAM. It's got a very similar display to last year, but it does have that dynamic island, and it has more peak net brightness in HDR. And beyond that, it's a very similar design. The one thing I will say physically that has changed is that the cameras are way bigger now. They protrude a lot more, as you guys can see, compared to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, the 14 Pro Max, it just protrudes a lot more. It looks fine. I think that if you got it in a color that wasn't deep purple, you wouldn't be able to tell from the back that this is the 14 versus the 13. You would be able to tell just from the front. And the display, I don't mind the dynamic island. To me is fine. I feel like I'm going to get used to it very quickly. I'm already kind of used to it. It looks fine. It doesn't look that different to me. As I said before, I did use this phone. You know, I did play a video, and what I'll do is I'll play it right now as well. And you guys can see just when you have it in full screen, I don't like the way that it looks like you have a cluster of dead pixels. The notch, at least since it's all the way up there, it almost feels like a more cutout, or like the design was that way, but this just feels like there's a cluster of dead pixels. As much as you know, it's been touted on Android and Android guys like it, I've used it on so many Androids and I still don't like the whole punch design. It just really does feel like a cluster of dead pixels to me, and I haven't gotten over it since the Galaxy S10, and I don't foresee myself getting over that feeling ever, if it hasn't happened already. But the screen itself is nice. I am looking forward to getting to use that dynamic island more, so it does kind of work here and there. There are certain places where it does work, so right now it's working with the music, and say if I were to make it silent, it does it that way. It's fine. I think that this is something that's a nice implementation, and it'll just become one more thing. I know a lot of people are excited about it, but to me, it's fine. I don't think that this is any reason to really upgrade your phone. Beyond that, the one thing I will say is that eSIM was just such a headache, and I'm just very frustrated with it. I'm going to figure it out later because I just don't want to deal with it right now. But you guys can see, oh, by the way, so I guess there's an ad playing, so because I have YouTube playing in the background, so this is what it looks like, the music player on the phone with all this. So it's nice. I think that the phone itself is really good. The eSIM decision is just very frustrating, and it's definitely going to cause hassles. I will say, beyond that, I am actually loving this phone. The color I've grown to love in just a couple of hours. I wasn't sold on it initially, but now that I look at it more and more, and when it hits the light, just hits it right, ooh, it looks so good. You know, I love taking B-roll of this phone. It looks so pretty. Definitely happy with my color choice. I was contemplating just switching my order to black when I saw it in the store, but I'm glad I went with the deep purple. It looks really, really nice. The stainless steel looks nice too, but it does smudge up as usual. But this is just so durable. Looking at my 13 Pro Max, I used this phone without a case for most of the year, and it fared so well. So I don't mind that it smudges up just a little bit, because the rest of the phone doesn't. The back looks really clean too. So hardware-wise, I am happy. I tested the speakers. The display looks really nice. Nothing to complain about. And overall, I am happy with this phone. And if you do have a 13 Pro Max, is it worth the upgrade? When I answered this question for the 13 to the 14, or even anything, that didn't make sense. But the difference with the 13 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max is that you can't buy the 13 Pro Max anymore. This is out of the equation. So if you wanted a Pro Max device, the only option right now is this. And do I think it's worth it? I do think it's worth it if you're in the market for a phone like this. The one thing I will say, though, is that don't expect it to be very different from the 13 Pro. So if you have a 13 Pro, don't upgrade. Don't bother. You're just going to be disappointed. If you have a 12 Pro or older, especially if you've got a 10S or a 10 or something, this is going to feel a lot different just because the notch is kind of removed and there's changes in that way. I think that a lot of people will enjoy it. The always-on display, by the way, I don't like. It's very annoying. I wish it would go all black so that I could just get the time and the date, and maybe the weather, maybe a notification or two, just the logos of the app would have been perfect. I don't need this kind of have the whole wallpaper and everything show up. I don't like that. That's why I don't have it turned on my Apple Watch 2. The watch face I like to use, it doesn't dark out. It just becomes a little bit more dim. Like, I don't need that much information. I don't need the watch to be draining that much battery constantly. So that's going to be my initial impression on the 14 Pro Max. I think it's a good phone. I will say one more thing, though. This phone is very clearly tilted and wobbles a lot on the table just because of how big that camera bump is. Like, this is bad, but this is way worse. Like, if you're going to use this, put a case on it, because those cameras are going to take a beating for sure. Or get Apple Care, which sucks to say, but yeah, that's kind of your go-to here. The design of this is not going to age well, just because that glass is kind of the highest element on the back of the phone. I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up from this angle, but that is going to be a problem down the road if you are rough with it. I feel like this is glass at the end of the day, so it's a little bit scary. But other than that, I am happy with the 14 Pro Max. I can recommend this phone. I would just say if you're coming from a 13 Pro, you might be a little bit disappointed. Other than that, everybody else I think will really enjoy this upgrade. If you have any questions about the 14 Pro Max, feel free to ask me down in the comments below. And if you want to check out this phone, any other phones or accessories I use, or the camera gear I use to film these videos, feel free to check them out. They're all going to be linked in the description below. And whenever you use those links, guys, it really helps the channel. So I really appreciate when you do that. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me on social media. I'll have all the handles right here on the screen, and of course linked down in the description as well. If you want to see photos of this, I took some really nice shots of this, so if you want to check them out, they're going to be over on Instagram. And if you have any other questions for me, as I said, be sure to subscribe and ask in future videos, because a lot more iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 content coming your way. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will catch you in the next one.